When I was a kid, I really drank the Kool-Aid on Sonic games being bad. You mostly hear about people getting indoctrinated into being gay or racist as kids, but not me. I just turned out that way all on my own. I had this whole theory as to why 2D Sonic games in specific were objectively awful. The idea was, if Sonic is all about going fast, then why are there obstacles that slow you down? Oh shit! Boost formula really rots the brain. I thought about this idea again when I was playing Penny's Big Breakaway, because if the younger version of me played this game and still had that theory, this game would probably suck. But this game doesn't suck, it actually kicks ass. But that's not really the common opinion. Penny's Big Breakaway is the first time I found myself on the opposite end of common consensus with a game, where I see a large group of people either detest this game or feel generally negative about it. I, on the other hand, like this game a lot. A lot. Like, might be one of my favorite 3D platformers, at least top 5. Being on the other end of a divisive game makes me feel like an NPC who's breaking my code, which I think is the plot of Fall Guy. I don't know, I don't really watch movies. I want to get into why Penny's Big Breakaway kicks ass immediately, but first, I need to get this out of the way. I'm going to mention Sonic in this video, mostly because this game was made by the Sonic Mania developers, and because I think the fact that this game was made by the Sonic Mania people is a big part of the negative reception with this game. Penny's Big Breakaway is a momentum-based game, so walking isn't an option. Luckily, you have your trusty yo-yo, which you'll be using to do yo-yo dashes, yo-yo swings, and ride like a Segway. One of the first things I noticed and really liked about this game is how it treated speed as compared to Sonic games or Sonic-inspired games, basically most games that you go fast in. It's a lot more difficult to gain speed in this game. You don't gain a lot of speed from going down slopes or even using the spin dash equivalent. You need to land on slopes or you need to conserve your momentum with swings to gain a lot of speed. At first this felt very clunky, and gaining speed was more of a chore than it was a reward, but the more I played, the easier it was to gain speed, because I was improving. This in turn made going fast feel more rewarding. Moving in Penny's Big Breakaway is a lot like driving a manual car. It's really weird and doesn't feel intuitive at first, but if you stick with it, it gets extremely rewarding. Yes, I am a member of Gen Z, what gave it away? And look, I know people don't want to work hard for their entertainment, like this is a fucking video game, not studying for the SAT, but I like fighting games. I like games where you have to grind stuff out to get better, so it's right up my alley. I do understand the complaints though. It also doesn't help that the game doesn't explain to you how to go fast, but trust me, we'll get to that. With all the speed you can get, you can do a lot of tricky-dicky skips and techniques, which I gotta say is like crack to me. Especially in 3D platformers, doing something the unintended way makes me feel like a genius. Along with that, the level design is excellent. You get a lot of opportunities to show off your mastery of the game, and the levels are built around going faster and faster. This game has a time attack mode for a reason. It's extremely addicting to play stages over and over, and trying to find small optimizations to cut more seconds off your time. It's funny because I never really saw the appeal of speedrunning, but this game groomed me into a little speedrunner. Yeah, that's right, Penny's Big Breakaway groomed me. I'm sure that cannot be misconstrued in any way possible. Now that I've established that this game kicks ass and why you should give Evening Star all of your money, I can get into the issues people have with this game, and why I think some arguments don't hold up. Before I get into the more opinionated issues with this game, I want to cover one very apparent flaw that nobody can really argue, and that's the abundance of glitches and bugs. Multiple times I've clipped through the floor, ceiling, and walls, usually resulting in me falling to my death. This is extremely common, and it happened in almost every level. Now, I get that might sound bad, but apparently it was even worse on release. This isn't some sort of cope or anything, it isn't some sort of defense, I'm just saying that it was worse on release, so if you think it's bad now, apparently it was even fucking worse. Obviously the bugs are inexcusable and an extremely valid thing to criticize. As for the other issues, I have some complaints about them. The two biggest issues I see people have with this game is that the movement feels unintuitive or it's hard to gain speed, and that the obstacles are not obstacles and you can just ignore them. For the first issue, I hate to be that guy, but this is a skill issue. A skill issue I completely understand, but a skill issue nonetheless. Yes, I'm saying Sonic fans suck at video games. This video was all a ploy to dunk on Sonic fans. For many players, Penny's speed is going to fluctuate between painfully slow and Walmart Rascal Scooter. Add into this all the ramps that fling you up like a vert ramp, which is great for hitting 900s, but not for maintaining speed. It doesn't set you up for success, basically. You can go fast. I've shown clips of me going fast. You've seen me going fast. but the way the game is designed at times doesn't make it obvious for new players to excel, which is something I do think is valid criticism. Add to that the game never showing you how to go quickly, then all the people who say this game is slow and clunky starts to make more sense. For the second issue, I agree, the obstacles are worthless for somebody who knows how to play the game, but the reason that's fine with me is because the risk-reward is still balanced. A lot of these huge skips carry a high risk of instantly dying or losing a lot of progress. This makes the skip itself engaging because of what's at stake if you mess it up. So you have the easier, safer route that the game intended, or the riskier, tricky-dicky skips I mentioned before. The cool thing about this is also how it lets the game's difficulty scale with how you want to play it. You can tackle the game the intended way, or you can go for huge skips. Another game which does this pretty well is Demon Turf and the demo for Bubsy 4D.
Yo, remember me? Your old pal Bubsy?
That's annoying.
Which, same developers for both games, so there's probably a correlation there. You can make a lot of obstacles arbitrary with fancy movement, but you'll be punished heavily for fucking up in these games. Despite all my praise, still, the amount of stuff that you can completely ignore with a yo-yo jump and wall jumps is sort of absurd. I barely interact with most obstacles, and it's because I can usually just jump over it. Still, I would argue this is the game rewarding my skill and ability to use Penny's moveset, so I consider that a dub. If you're worried you won't like this game, then you should probably wait for a sale. The game only took me 4 hours to beat, so if you don't like it halfway through, then you should refund it because you probably will not like the rest of it. I would recommend anyone play this game. It's fun, has deep mechanics, and it has awesome music. I didn't mention the music, so I want to say here that it's pretty great. I think we should appreciate this before the AI hellscape gives us a bunch of randomly generated garbage to listen to in our games. So go play Penny's Big Breakaway, and I swear if I see you spending money on Sonic Frontiers, I will fucking kill you.